When you think of Dubai, you may think of luxurious hotels, skyscrapers and scorching deserts, but what may not come to mind is that of mysterious aircrafts. Each year, thousands of people witness mysterious things in our sky, leading to further research. Although many of these objects can be explained using everyday things, such as planes, helicopters, debris, wildlife and natural phenomena, some are not so easy to explain. Some interesting photographs have made their way online that were captured above Dubai, with eyewitnesses saying that this futuristic craft appeared to be changing shape. The object in question was observed flying close to a building, and when the photographs were uploaded, it led some to believe that this could have been a mysterious aircraft. Those who were close by and observed the aircraft said that it was shiny, and was seen hovering close to the nearby buildings. Unlike many sightings, the photographs of this craft were of decent quality, which helped users online study this craft further. The underside of the object was described as having large propellers, something that has been seen on various other crafts, which has led some to question whether these objects are actually some type of advanced drone, or something that's been built by the military. Those who allegedly witnessed this object described the movement as being mechanical, saying that it was able to hover in the sky without looking unstable. The object could be clearly seen by those in the area, and some detailed that the object was moving slowly, while occasionally flying behind the building. The craft though was described as making a humming noise, something that isn't often reported in these types of sightings, and this led some to question whether this was actually man-made. Users then started to put forward the idea that this was actually a new high-tech drone that was being tested. Although the images were posted back in 2019, Dubai officials have announced that they're spending a large amount of money into flying cars and other prototypes. In fact, in January 2022, officials announced that they've been working on a hypercar that has the ability to reach over 136 miles per hour, or 220 kilometers per hour, going on to say that it will be able to reach heights of 3,000 feet. They said that testing has gone well, and that it's basically a scaled-down electric car, further saying that they've been working with a startup company in London to make this car a reality. They've given it the catchy name of the eVTOL, which stands for Electric Vertical Takeoff and Lift Aircraft. As of right now, officials are happy with the progress that they're making, and users have said that the 2019 footage is likely from one of these tests, noting that the sound coming from the craft was a giveaway that it wasn't something mysterious. Recent surveys showed that 2/3 of Americans believe that intelligent life exists somewhere in the cosmos, with 68% of Americans believing that many of the mysterious crafts that are sighted every year don't belong to us. For hundreds of years now, people have been sharing their sightings and encounters, and although some of them may not be genuine or can be explained, there's many who say that some of these stories can't be explained away so easily. The gigantic cranes crossing the sun 1880. Dr. F.P. Harris was not alone in his witnessing of strange objects moving across the faces of celestial bodies. Back in 1880, an Italian astronomer by the name of Rico, who studied out of the observatory located in Sicily, noticed a bizarre-looking winged object crossing the face of the sun. According to Rico, it was on the 30th of November at around 8 AM that he was watching the sun through a specialized lens to get an accurate vision of the solar flare phenomena. As he was studying this celestial body, however, he began to notice black objects that would occasionally obstruct his view of certain areas of the solar flares. Focusing in on the black objects, believing that perhaps he was witnessing a rare event of a comet or a meteor body crashing into the surface of the sun, he began to realize that something far more dramatic was occurring. He'd later published the following notes on the incident. I witnessed winged bodies in two long parallel lines slowly traveling apparently across the disk of the sun, They looked like large birds or cranes. Rico would be unable to explain his findings and would never comment on the event for the rest of his life, fearing both ridicule and possibly the destruction of his career in astronomy and his personal reputation in the objective physical sciences. The 1959 Evora encounter. On the 2nd of November back in 1959, eyewitness reports began to flood in all across the city of Evora, located in Portugal, of an object passing over the city's airspace and raining down a shower of the angel hair material. For those unaware, angel hair has been discovered as a fibrous substance that's been found after seeing mysterious objects in the sky. The mass sighting included citizens from all over the city and regarded the event as purely supernatural, believing that the craft moved in such impossible ways that no non-terrestrial craft could have been responsible. The later 50s would also be the height of this craze, occurring at around the same time across the United States and neighbouring European countries, though there would be less reporting. Curious as to what the strange cotton-like substance was, citizens from all across the city began collecting as many samples of the material as possible, though it was proven difficult given the material's ease of disintegration. After several samples of the material were collected, however, they were sent in for laboratory examinations and subjected to a variety of tests to analyse the material. Many of the private collections were also sent to a variety of labs, including a local school director who obtained a portion of the substance to study. Oddly enough, reports surrounding the material were completely hidden or forced to remain silent by unknown entities. Additionally, even future experiments and studies on the material from other private collectors, such as the privately funded sent in material back in July of 1960, to a research biologist who was supposedly reported to have kept the findings a secret. It would not be for another 18 years that the findings surrounding the strange samples would become public. Featured at the first Iberian Congress, a public panel and seminar that featured a wide variety of researchers and specialists, wishing to more seriously study the field of research concerning these objects. According to 4 scientists who worked at the Center of Astronomical Studies on Unusual Phenomena, they claim that the thread-like material appeared to have a biological origin. According to several researchers who had also seen the photomicrographs of the thread-like material, the majority of the material appears to be made up of traces of carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, tin, boron, silicon, calcium, and magnesium. The following is the direct quote from the reports which backs this assertion. Several samples of these filaments were collected in different parts of the world, and their examination in the laboratory has allowed us to establish that the substance that forms them, called fibrine, is made up of carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, tin, boron, silicon, calcium, and magnesium. The fibrine, however, reportedly did not make up the entirety of the substance, and was instead an accompanying material to a far stranger biological agent. The report would make the following statement, claiming that a microorganism was discovered in one of the angel hair fragments. In one of the fragments examined, it was identified as a strange being, totally unknown from terrestrial biology, which can become the first detected test of otherworldly life. The Evora creature measured 4 mm and had enormous strength and resistance. The biological agent would be referred to by researchers as the Evora alien, given its impossible to explain qualities. According to the researchers, the organism had been placed between 2 small sheets of glass, commonly used for microscopic examination. As it was sandwiched between the glass and placed under a microscope, however, it suddenly began to demonstrate strong defensive reactions. Pressing up against the 2 glass sheets, the microorganism released a network of small tentacles against the glass, appearing to make an active attempt to break free from the glass material, though was completely unable. Testing with the microorganism and the surrounding glass showed that the strength of the tentacles was capable of supporting up to 350 grams, roughly 12 ounces. According to the researchers, the appearance of the organism was even more peculiar and unlike any known terrestrial microorganism encountered. This creature allegedly possessed a central body that was yellow and egg white in colour, while the surrounding expanding and contracting tentacles appear to have a rather intense dark red colour. Over time, however, the colours would seemingly change, almost as if they were adapting to the surrounding environment, suddenly becoming a brownish yellowish colour tone that grew increasingly darker in colour. The tentacles of the microorganism were believed to have been created via the use of complex filaments that were parallel to each other and connected via a glue-like gelatinous substance that provided increased structural support. The colour of the tentacles were reported to have been completely transparent and made visible the entire structure of cells within them that appeared to increase in number as time went on. The centre of the yellow body of the creature had a mouth-shaped opening similar to a starfish, and located around this mouth-shaped opening were tiny folds and cracks that appeared to either have been signs of physical deterioration or to assist in eating. All around the mouth-shaped opening were reportedly dark round spots that formed into 5-pointed shapes that would expand outward from the mouth. Interestingly, the official answer that was given was that the substance was produced by a small insect of an unknown species. Soldiers are some of the bravest people you'll ever meet. They are universally respected, and they take on duties that many would run away from. They take part in peacekeeping missions, supporting humanitarian efforts, or fighting in combat zones. Interestingly though, in recent years soldiers have come forward and shared some of the interesting things that they've witnessed while on duty. One online user posted these photographs of a helicopter carrying a mysterious object over a combat zone. The user details that the photos were taken during the early 2000s in the Middle East. The 3 helicopters can be seen travelling in the same direction, but it's the helicopter at the front that's caught people's attention. It can be seen carrying a large object that looks like a disc, and it's caused some to theorise what the object is. Some military experts in the comments said it could be something like a tank, or that the helicopter could have been part of a drop-off, or some said that it could have been picking up something. Some users though went down a different route and suggested that it could have been a mysterious flying craft that made contact with the ground. Cleanup operations in regards to mysterious flying crafts are not anything new. In fact, for decades now, declassified documents and eyewitnesses claim that whenever there's been a mysterious craft that's crashed, the military presence is normally observed in the nearby area. Due to this, it's caused some to suggest that the military may have been aware of these objects, and that they were tracking them the whole time, and this would explain why they can get to the downed craft so quickly. One user said the following about the photographs. It's not very often that you get photographs with these types of stories. I've read many forums of soldiers who have come forward and detailed what they've encountered during their time in the military, and some of the most interesting ones are those that detail the paranormal. One of the problems though is that these individuals can't back up what they're saying, so at face value they're just stories. However, we actually have a photograph of this one, and I agree that it does look like the helicopter is carrying an object that matches the typical description of an unidentified flying object." End quote. Another user commented that their friends served in the military, and they would often detail how they would see strange glowing crafts while being out in battle. He said these crafts would travel extremely fast, and had the ability to outmaneuver anything they had. His friend said that although these objects weren't often sighted, they could always tell the difference between these crafts and the aircrafts that belonged to the military. Some skeptics though were quick to point out that although the photographs look interesting, it's likely that the helicopter was lifting something from a nearby area, and it just so happens to be in the shape of a classic UFO. Researchers have said that the military have known about these strange craft since first being established, and that they've built a large database to record and document these mysterious crafts. Today, our sky is filled with planes, jets, helicopters, and drones. However, there was a time in which strange crafts were being observed before the invention of the aeroplane. Whilst we might think of the UFO as a 20th century phenomenon, the late 19th century saw many astounding reports that brought to those who witnessed them both wonderment and fear in equal measure. One interesting account is that of the Aztec, New Mexico UFO crash that occurred back in 1948 and has since been a topic of great debate amongst UFO enthusiasts. According to the author Frank Scully, who broke the story surrounding the strange incident, Scully claimed that in March of 1948, a flying saucer described as being around 99 feet in diameter was found in the Hart Canyon, approximately 12 miles northeast of the city of Aztec, New Mexico. When the military arrived to recover the craft, the soldiers had supposedly found an estimated 16 deceased humanoid bodies that were believed to have been between 36 to 42 inches in height. Frank Scully theorized that after the craft was taken into a secret US military base for inspection, the United States government used it for reverse engineering purposes to hopefully one day create a fleet of their own crafts in the near future. During this investigation process, Scully elaborated that the craft seemed to generate propulsion via electromagnetic principles, which seemed to be in almost direct comparison to modern-day discoveries in ionic crafts, which would utilize electromagnetic fields to generate concentrated ionic winds. Interestingly enough, hundreds of skeptics and even fellow UFO enthusiasts believe the Aztec, New Mexico event to have been a fictitious hoax, designed by Frank Scully for the purpose of selling books. The truth, however, seems to be far more surreal, as a report written by the lead FBI agent in charge of the Washington field office, Guy Hotel, seems to describe the event of the alien crash with perfect clarity. Known as the Hotel Memo, the archived document was made available for viewing on the FBI's Vault website that stored archived documents for the public to have access to. When the memo was made popular via different social media sites upon its discovery, the Federal Bureau of Investigation acknowledged the memo in a statement press release back in 2013, claiming that the memo was nothing more than a third-hand account with no support backing its claims, and was nothing more than the retelling of a hoax. Today, the incident and its legitimacy is still a hot topic of debate among theorists and enthusiasts. So what do you make of these interesting photographs? Do you think the helicopter is carrying something mysterious, or is it something that can be easily explained? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.